For this tutorial, you're going to need some sort of fabric. I'm using a denim leg, but you can also use something sturdy like duck canvas. You are also going to need a zipper. I'm using a gold metal one since it looks a little bit nicer. If you want to, you can make a lining out of some sort of plastic. I'm just using this vinyl sheeting that I picked up at Joann's. So to start out, you want to cut your fabric to 11 inches wide. Since I'm using a denim piece, it is folded in half. I'm going to line up the bottom of it and measure up 6.5 inches. This is just going to make your end piece 13 inches by 11. But my rule is already 6.5 inches, so that was pretty easy for me. So the finished thing is going to be 11 by 13. On the long side, that's where you're going to want to have the seam. So now you're going to take it to your machine and on a small stitch length, use a zigzag stitch to finish up the edges and make them stay a little bit cleaner. You can also use a serger if you have one. So now that you have everything nice and clean, you can go ahead and trim your zipper to the width of your fabric, so 11 inches. Mine is double-sided, but you're going to want to line up the good sides, the right sides together on one of the 11-inch sides, and you're going to pin it, and we're going to be sewing a straight stitch all the way along this side. I have my machine set on a right side. Not quite sure why I did this, but it helped in the end once we start to roll it. So just go ahead and sew all the way down. Now you're going to want to take the fabric right sides out and roll it a little bit and then pin it so then you can finish it and have the fabric closer to the zipper. Now top stitch along this, and you can also unzip it a little bit if it's harder. So just continue to sew all the way to the edge. You also will need to zip it back up, but it should look like this. It looks really clean after you top stitch it. So now you're going to fold it over to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. You're going to add some pins and then just sew it how we did before. Make sure that it's all lined up, and once you do that, you can just flip it inside out and do the rolling process all over again. So do the same thing, and for this I had mine on the left side. So once you do it, you want to center the zipper and measure from the zipper to the outside to make sure that it is centered. I didn't do a very good job on this, so it didn't turn out perfect, but that's alright. So we're going to be sewing up the sides. So you can just go ahead and unzip it a little bit, then just pin it and sew. So now what you're going to want to do is when you're near the zipper, go very slow so you don't break a needle, and you also want to just unzip it, but keep it zipped while you're working on the other side to keep everything nice and tight and in place. So this is what it's going to look like. You can also just leave it like this. It's a more simpler design, which is good for if you're an absolute beginner working with zippers. But what you're going to want to do is pop it so it's wrong sides out, and you're going to want to, this is kind of hard to explain, but the seam that's running along the side, you're going to pop it out to make a triangle. You just have to play around with the fabric, but here's a few different angles on what it looks like. You just want it to make sure that the seam is in the center and is all lined up and equal. So from this point, you're going to measure 2 inches and mark it with something. I ended up using just a pen because you couldn't really see the chalk. And draw a straight line from each side, sew and pin. Or pin and sew, actually. Then also cut off the excess. Do the same to all 4 corners. So you can stop here, but if you want, you can also make a plastic lining using the exact same steps and just put it on the inside, but I wouldn't really recommend doing that. So here is what it looks like. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is going to be super cute for back to school, and stay tuned for more videos.